Ever pondered about the profound wisdom and teachings of the Quran? Today we journey through a selection of enlightening verses and their implications on our understanding of faith and life. Our exploration begins with the acknowledgement that according to the Quran, the majority are misguided mushrikeen, or idolaters, as stated in verses 6, 116 and 5, 49. It's a profound reminder of the pervasiveness of misdirection in our world. Yet the Quran implores us to reason and not follow blindly, as highlighted in verses 8, 22 and 17, 36, encouraging us to question, to seek, to understand, rather than to simply accept without comprehension. It is also worth noting that according to verses 15, 9 and 41, 41 to 42, only the Quran is preserved, a testament to its enduring relevance and timeless wisdom. The Quran also advises us to seek refuge when reading its verses, as stated in verse 16, 98. A gentle nudge towards humility and protection from misinterpretation. The Quran also asserts that we cannot have two sources of truth, as noted in verse 39, 29. Thus, studying another book, it warns, could make one a criminal, as stated in verses 68, 35 to 38. An intriguing point to ponder is the concept of inheriting religion instead of following the Quran, which according to verse 31:21 leads to hell. It's a stark caution against blind faith and the dangers of unexamined beliefs. Interestingly, there's no mention of any prophet's Hadith or Sunnah in the Quran. However, it does affirm that Allah's Sunnah has no change, as noted in verse 35:43. The Quran, it is said, was imposed on the Prophet, as stated in verses 28:85 and 33:38. Furthermore, the Prophet would have been punished if he deviated from the Quran, as highlighted in verses 17, 73 to 74 and 69, 38 to 47. Allah is the one who taught the Quran, as confirmed in verses 55, 1 to 4. We are commanded to follow only the Quran as instructed in verses 7, 2 to 3 and 6, 153. Judging by other than the Quran, it warns, makes one a disbeliever, as stated in verses 5, 43 to 51. The Prophet was commanded to be of the Muslims, as stated in verse 27:91. Sects are considered mushrikeen, or idolaters, as mentioned in verses 30, 31 to 32. The Prophet was commanded to warn with only the Quran, as noted in verse 6:19. There was no authorization to write the Prophet's words, as stated in verses 6, 114 and 599. The Prophet, as per verse 72:21, had no other guidance. The one message he delivered was the Quran, as affirmed in verse 480. To summarize, the Quran provides a profound framework for understanding our world and our place within it. It invites us to reason, to seek truth, and to be cautious of blind following. It emphasizes the importance of the Quran as the sole source of divine guidance and warns of the dangers of deviating from its teachings. Remember, the Quran is more than just a book. It's a compass, a guide, a beacon of light in an often confusing world. So let's cherish its wisdom, reflect upon its teachings, and strive to live in accordance with its guidance. Until next time, may your journey of discovery be enlightening and enriching.